Hello out there, greetings from the garden where I've been out here weeding and sweating. I want to show you, I got three things to talk about. One is this weeder for those who are gardeners. I don't know if I've shared this before, but I'm going to because this is a game changer for weeding. And it makes weeding actually fun. So have you seen one of these? That's the top of it, and that's the bottom of it. See, I just used it. How this works is you plunge this right into the center of the weed. So picture a big dandelion weed and you just put it right into the center. Then using this, it's just manual, you just twist it, but you know, this ergonomics of this makes this easy. So you've got that plunged in, you twist the whole thing, pull it straight up, and it pulls the weed out, and you can hear it, it's satisfying. You can hear all these roots going, you know, as it's breaking up the roots. This will capture the weed and like the ball of the weed and pull it straight out so it's stuck in here. Then you push this plunger and eject it, and you can get a couple of weeds in there with each one, but it makes it into kind of a game. It's sort of fun. So I just finished doing a lot of that. I was weeding my pavers, and I couldn't use it on the pavers. It has to, you know, go into the earth. But so that's a tip, and they might, you know, I think Amazon Prime is still going on, so that might be on sale because it's a popular item. This is the sparkling watermelon that I used at my class the other day. I'm still on a high from my class. It was so fun, and I'm having so many ideas about what I want to do with them, including because I have this really motivated group of people now. I mean, there's probably 8 people. Well, out of yesterday, I would say probably 6 people of the 8 who are super motivated to do this. So I'm thinking of doing a 3-day intensive with them. I'm going to wait till after my fall one, so you know we have a little more working time together. But did my husband come out? No. But to do 3 days in a row with a theme, I have a cool theme. I've been cooking this up for a while. I'm not going to share it yet, but I've been wanting to do this for a while, and then I could get my flowers all at once for the 3 days, to cover the 3 days. I probably would only take like 6 people because, you know, that's a lot of flowers to buy for 3 days in a row. But come on, boo-boo. Mr. Beasley's coming up. Wait. Just came back from a walk. Yeah, you guys just missed it. There was a hummingbird here that was lingering for so long on my phlox over there. So he's trying to eat this plastic, but he already chewed off something else. Sorry, doggy waylaid. So yeah, I'm really already thinking of ideas and how I want to work with these people. But yeah, this 3-day in a row class, and then build on that. So last night I took this fantastic webinar that I have been wanting for so long, which is on color theory, that could be applied in a lot of arenas. It could also be applied in a garden, but it's, you know, it's directed toward flowers, but flowers are in a garden too, and how to like put colors together in a garden. I took something at the New York Botanical Garden online that was frankly such a dud that I bailed on it and got credit for it because it was just bad, you know, and it was too frustrating. The tech was all messed up, and you know, her lighting was so bad you couldn't even see it was just bad. But, you know, from somebody I'm sure who was very skilled from the New York Botanical Garden, but it was just really disappointing. I took another one with my friend down at one of the flower farms I go to, who I adore, and you know, but it was just such a scratching the surface. So I got an email from this woman that I met when I went to this Team Flower conference in Albany a few years ago. I heard him panting. It's warm out here. He's got his water though. I met her there. She did a presentation, then she did a class that I took on making this spiral bouquet that like rocked my world, on how to do a hand-tied bouquet. So I've been on her mailing list ever since, and she put this thing out of doing this free webinar on color. I'm like, yes, sign me up. It was the most informative, amazing free webinar. And at the end of it, you know, she's doing this for a reason because she has an online business of floral education, and very polished, and the tech was perfect, and she's just really engaging. I like her. She's super smart, and researched and everything, and the way she was, talking about color theory was just fascinating. And so she was selling an online course at half price if you were in this thing. So I bought it, then and there, like, sign me up. I already knew I was going to buy it as soon as she got a half hour into it, because I'm like, I'm so thirsty for this knowledge, and I'm just frustrated because I haven't been getting it anywhere else. And I get some of it with my training with Susie, but that's hands-on. We're doing things, and she just is one of those people that she just sort of knows this goes together because she has that intuitive sense. Like I've said a million times, I don't. So I need to learn it. I need to learn it like I'm in college. So that's what this is like. So I bought it, and then I approached my friend and I said, you want to make it into a thing and like come over and we'll have tea and watch this together, because we could apply it to our gardens. And she was like, yeah, sign me up. So we're going to make that into a thing. It's 7 hours, and we'll have like 7 little classes together, and she'll come over and we'll do it together. So I highly recommend it. This woman, her business is something about bouquets and something, but her name is Amy Balsters, Balsters, if you're interested. Now, somebody wrote me on Instagram a private message after I made my video yesterday about my class, and said, would you ever consider doing an online class? Remember I did that online class where my husband busted into it and said we could get a talk because he was so afraid I might see the email. Anyway, that was pretty funny. But I lost that with all my other channel. So yeah, if you'd be interested, like, let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in doing. It's not going to be a for charge thing. What I would tell you, if you're lucky to be near a Trader Joe's, or if you're like me, an hour away, it's worth the drive. But I would give you like a basic recipe of what to get, and a style of vase to pick up that you can usually get at the dollar store. And then we could do it online together. I'd probably just take a minimum of people, so it'd be cool if we could all be on the screen together. I have to think of how to do that. But so we could all be, looking at what each other are making. That'd be fun. So I asked her if she had any, if you're watching, asked you if she had any like particular days or times, and she's pretty flexible. So I was thinking like maybe a Sunday afternoon or something like that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If on your end it would require getting some minimal supplies, like getting your flowers, and getting a vase and some snips, and that's probably about it. Maybe some floral preservative, which will come with your flowers. Every bunch of flowers from Trader Joe's comes with the floral preservative. So let me know about that if you're interested. And if you have like time restrictions, day or time of day, let me know that too. So I think that'd be fun. And it would be a place for me to kind of share some of this color theory stuff that I'm going to be learning, that I already learned last night. Fascinating. Like in this other one, they say, well, go get a color wheel. And they're just sort of like, here's analogous and here's, but like she's diving into this color wheel. Like this woman, this has a passion for this. And oh my God, I had so many questions, but I didn't want to like monopolize in a free webinar. She was just really, yeah. She laughed because I made a comment and I said, oh, when I get this, I'm putting you up on my big screen TV in my living room and I'm going to watch it. She goes, you got to send me a screenshot of that. She's going to be larger than life. Anyway, because I like doing that. So the other thing I want to tell you is that, and I think this is another good metaphor. So we were thinking of, see this sofa here? Here's my purse. I was organizing my purse. My neighbor has such a comfy sofa over there, and I was bad when I first got this. I didn't cover it up. So this thing got beat to hell with the rain and everything like that, like the first couple years that we had this patio furniture. Bad me. I just didn't take very good care of it. I thought it was patio furniture, Now I cover it, but it's just not very comfortable. And then I go over and sit on hers. I'm like, oh, yours is so comfortable. So I was talking to John about and I don't love this set anyway. Fairly basic, but it does the job. So I said, maybe we should just get a sofa. Because this is one of those, it's convertible and you can make it into like all kinds of things. So what I had done is I had converted it into this chaise over there where that big empty space is. That was basically an eyesore because it was this chaise lounge that was, if you look over there, there's kind of like a chaise at the end of that sofa. That was just covered up with a black ugly patio cover, and nobody was using it. And my husband, he loves to sunbathe. And I thought for sure he'd get out of the hot tub and want to sit in that and sunbathe. Well, he's never done that. I mean, not even once, I don't think. So I'm like, it's really just taking up space. It's in the way. It's blocking my view of my flowers. Now we have the dogs playing together all the time, so they're running back and forth between the patios next door. It's in their way. It's in my neighbor's way when she's coming over to visit. It's just a blockage, So I'm like, let's get rid of that. Let's just put it on free stuff on a marketplace. Have somebody, you could just have it, and then get a new one. Well, I found this sofa, talking to my husband about it, and he's like, that's going to be too short. I mean, if that's the only seating we have on this patio and there's 3 of us, we're going to be shoved into this. It's almost like a love seat. He's like, and I hadn't really thought about like the length of it. I'm like, you're right. That's not, I said, what am I thinking? We don't need to buy a whole new thing. Let's just make do with what we have. But I solved the problem. There's a point here. And the problem was to dump that chaise and turn it into a double chaise. I don't know if you could see that. So I got a sofa with 2 long, like chaises on both ends, and then I made like a little chair over there. A bit like when my brother's over, whatever, you can sit there. Lillian could sit there. But we're all out here together. So we're utilizing it all, but I bought a whole extra set of cushions. So I got the double cushion situation now. So I got the double, and the new cushions are really cushy. So now I got the plush seating, and I'm not sitting on this like flat blah stuff that my own fault for leaving out in the weather. And for less than half of what I would spend on that sofa on sale. So I now have, I don't know if you can see, this whole new setup, and these cushions came with it. So now I have these back cushions that are new. I know this is probably so boring, but it's sort of exciting. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with the 3 back cushions that are there? Well, this is what I did. I doubled up on the chaise part of it, so now I have the cushy for the legs. So this is my point, is that sometimes we have to look around at our environment and recognize that, like, it was a good thought at the beginning, but it's really not working now. It's that thought never really materialized into what I hoped it would be. And once you start deciding, once I decided, like, that's got to go. That eyesore over there has got to go. And my thought was just give it away. Well, that then opened up my brain to have other ideas and other channels. And now I didn't have to spend much money to get this whole thing totally refurbished. And it is perfect now. Like, it's pretty warm out here, but I just wanted to sit on it because I just did this yesterday and I'm digging it. And also sometimes it's nice enough to sleep out here. So like my neighbor there, she usually texts me back right away. Like 2 hours later, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I fell asleep on the patio. So, I mean, it's so peaceful out here, and but now it's like super cushy and comfy to sleep on. So yeah, and this is just something to apply to life in general. If you know something isn't working, or it's like an obstruction in any way, that could be a something in your home, in your physical environment, a relationship, whatever, that it's just obstructing your joy or your flow, your vibe. If it's being obstructed, give yourself permission to just say, that's not working. Let's just start by eliminating that thing and see where we go from there. And then ideas start to come about how you can be creative. And sometimes they're coming in ways that you just hadn't ever considered. So sometimes you just got to pluck that, I don't know, keep saying the word obstruction, that thing out of the way, and then new things flow into that space. So I'm just really thrilled about that. And I didn't have to go through all the hassle of getting rid of this and getting a new one and everything. So that's that. So the other thing I wanted to tell you is that I've been doing a little bit of a redive. Hey, boo-boo. I've been doing a little bit of a redive into Twin Flames universe. I listened to that podcast years ago, and there's now 2 documentaries on it, one on Prime and one on Netflix. Hey, boy. Hey, what you barking at? Come here, boy. What you barking at? Yeah, there's two that you can see, one on Prime, one on Netflix. The one on Netflix is a series, the one on Prime is a movie. It's a crazy ass cult, this Twin Flames universe, this Jeff and Shalia. The two things that set it apart, it's very NXIVM-like in certain ways, except for he's not trying to, at least that we know now, he's not trying to have sex with all the women in it. But that kind of wouldn't surprise me because they all seem to run the same scene, don't they? But their weirdo thing is really pushing people to go through gender changes. And it's really the women changing the men, because what they figured out is that they're promising people, they're capitalizing on loneliness, and that people are looking for their twin flame or their soulmate or whatever. They call it a twin flame, and they have it all defined and everything, and they're twin flames with each other, and so you too can have this. And it's a total MLM scam, but very much like NXIVM. But they are realized in making these promises that of course they're attracting primarily women. There's not many men that sign up for stuff like that. So if they're promising people having their twin flame, and then it became this like, well, you got to have your twin flame within our community and we're going to assign you who's your twin flame. That's romantic. Because he's now, yeah, that, I'll bookmark that, what he's telling himself he is, what he's telling them, who he's telling them that he is. So when he realized that he doesn't have very many men, then he started realizing that he needed to turn some of these women into men. So he started like telling these women that like they are masculine. They're really masculine. There's the hummingbird again. And so they're like having full-blown surgeries and everything to become men. There's like 17, 18 people in this cult who have gone through that at his defining their gender identity. It's crazy. And he's also, like NXIVM, become a church. They try to do all these things to avoid paying taxes and all that stuff. So he's done that. So there's those kind of potential charges. And then the other thing that he's doing is that he's literally saying, there's all this footage of him on camera saying that he literally is Jesus Christ, and he has changed his appearance. So he looks like these, renderings of Jesus. So he's got the long hair and the big blue eyes and the beard and everything. And so at one point he's saying that all of these portraits of Jesus they were having visions of him because he's the second coming. They weren't like the actual Jesus. They were doing portraits of him in the future. It's crazy. So the reason this got all stirred up again, because I watched this stuff years ago, because I know many of you guys too are interested in culty stuff. They got raided, like within the last couple weeks, by the Attorney General. So Twin Flames is going down in flames, very likely. So they're not saying anything about charges yet or anything, but there's been some, discussion online with people sort of speculating of what these could be. And probably very much like the NXIVM stuff, but forced labor is some of it. That's very culty. Tax evasion, stuff like that. So we'll see what they end up doing with them. Not the sex trafficking that they got Raniere for, but Keith Raniere's in prison for life for these charges. So I have a feeling these people are going down. And there's another couple I think that got raided too. So they raided their residence. They live in like a 7,000 square foot mansion. Oh, the other weird thing about them is that they've had a baby, a girl, and I think they genetically engineered their baby because before they even conceived, they just knew they were having a girl. And I think they did in vitro for that reason. Somehow I'm remembering that. And they've already decided that she's never going to have a partner, that she's going to live a monastic lifestyle, and like they've predestined her whole future. This poor child. So, there could be like CPS being looked into there. Who knows? I mean, that's pretty creepy. And that they're saying the only person she's ever going to, whatever, she's only going to have a sexual union in her life with God. and he's saying he's the Christ. See where I'm going there? So I don't know if any of you guys have been following this, but there are updates on it. There is a new, it's very satisfying, video out there that's called We Are Not a Cult, I think. So they hired to do reputation management this investigative journalist out of Canada, because she's Canadian. The woman in this is Canadian. And so they hired this woman to interview them. Like, she's the only like official interview they've given, because they've been in the press in a very negative way for about 5 years now. And like I said, the Wondery podcast is very good if you're into podcasts. So, and I'm surprised that none of these things don't mention the Wondery podcast. I haven't seen that reference, because that was the first place I heard about it, and it's a super deep dive into the whole thing. So I don't know why they're not referencing it, because it's really good. So they hire this woman, Avery somebody, to interview them in their home. She even gets into a Christmas party that they have, and in their home, and like they think this is reputation management, and this woman nails them to the freaking wall. And she's like, hey, I'm a journalist, so I'm not a PR person, so I'm not for hire to make you look any type of way. I'm here to investigate the situation, and it doesn't take much in investigating the situation to realize how freaking nutty the whole thing is. So here they really got shot themselves in the foot with that one. So that's about an hour and a half on YouTube. I don't know when that came out, but I hadn't heard of it. They've been off my radar for couple 3 years, because there hasn't been any new information, and it is disheartening to when you see these things, and then you see these people are proliferating and succeeding at it and making a ton of money at these things like Scientology, and it just starts to get, it's very satisfying, like NXIVM when they get busted. It's very disheartening when you see like Scientology still flourishing and stuff. So I just didn't go a looking, but once they got raided and hit the news, I'm like, okay, game on. So I'm hoping they get some charges going. Look at this boy. Hi, boy. Hi. You see yourself? Do you see yourself? I think sometimes he sees himself in the screen, and he's like barking at himself and pawing. So cute. So if you're interested, that whole thing is, I'm thinking of doing a live on this Twin Flames thing, because I think some of you guys are out there. I guess it is kind of true crimey in a way, but it is an interest that I have. And if anybody else wants to talk about it, I want to talk to people about it. So let me know if anybody else is out there that would like to do a live discussion on this phenomenon. Hope you guys are doing well. That's it for today. I'm going to go back to my whatever I'm doing. My husband and I today have decided we're going to pop open a bottle of champagne. We have all these goodies, cheese and crackers from this Happy Hour box thing. I think it was the last one. I had a subscription to that. And I forgot that came last week. And we have all the stuff from that, and make one of our beautiful platters that we make. Pop open. We have not drank alcohol since our anniversary when we went to New York City. And we went to that fancy dinner, and we drank, the wine dinner. We haven't had anything since then, and we didn't have anything before that. So I'm like, let's open a bottle of champagne. Like I feel like, and watch The Bear. We started watching it last night. It was very melancholy. Anybody else watching The Bear? I just was like, man, this has got to pick up. Sad, very sad. Like everybody's depressed. I want to root for these people, but like, you're bringing me down. Okay, I got to go let him inside. I think he's growling in his image in the mirror. Catch up with you guys later. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you're staying cool out there. All right, catch you later. Bye-bye.